Alright, welcome to Rocking with the Artsy Shaman. We're going to be taking some rocks out of the pre-polished grit and transferring them into the polishing grit. But to do so, we got to make sure that we get all of this nastiness out of them. So I'll have you guys keep me company whilst we get stuff touched up. So you just got to kind of scrub at it. And if it gives me too much trouble, I'll just chuck it into a side bin of reject rocks. We call them rocks to be rehabilitated at a later date. We'll call it that. So just kind of do the best you can. Just want to try to keep as much of that rougher grit out of the polishing process. Call that good enough. But not all of them will need it. Just some. Just some of them. If you find yourself getting frustrated during the rock polishing, remember that not every rock can take a polish. Unfortunately, what your elementary school teachers taught you that there's beauty in everything. Some rocks are just ugly. Most of them aren't, but a lot of them can tend to be a little rough. Get it? Because they're rocks. All these came out really good. I don't think I'm going to have to do too much secondary polishing. That being the fancy term for scrubbing it like I'm a pirate scrubbing the poop deck with much less booty and scurvy. One of those things is good, the other one isn't. So this is the part where I say, ooh, that's cool, to every rock I pick up, because I'm an 8-year-old. So we're just going to whiz through these. One of these are going to look real nifty when they're done. Tell me what your favorite rock is. I want to know. Mine's amethyst, because I really love the color purple. So all these dudes pass. This obsidian's going to look real neat when it's done. All nice and shiny and glass-like. This is my... what batch is this? 4th or 5th batch that I've done. And I'm really starting to feel like I might just know what I'm doing, which is the most dangerous part of a hobby. There's a little bit on that guy, so we'll give him a touch-up. But it's also my favorite part, because there's nothing worse than trying to do something and having no idea what you're doing. Which is how we all start, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta learn and grow. It's important. Important to learn. Nice see-through dude. Scrub that guy. Another nice piece of obsidian. Moving through these, I've learned that unfortunately Dayton doesn't have the finest rocks for polishing. Like I found this guy out here though. It's kind of nice. I'm gonna make something out of it for my dad. He likes the color green. I think he'll like that. Maybe. Who knows? I'm just happy he's tolerant of my rock weirdo-ness. Not just tolerant. My dad's pretty supportive, which is a fantastic thing, really. You can't beat that parental support when you're doing weird stuff. It's very cathartic. So we'll set these guys over there and scrub. If I can stop losing this brush, that would be a small miracle. Alrighty, so we'll just kind of get in there. As you can see, there's some little cracky ones. Your more professional rock polishers would say, you need to put that through again, but I actually kind of like the cracked, rugged look. If I was doing a ring or something like that, I'd obviously polish it a little further, but I'm not. Most of these will probably end up being in like statue pieces and things like that, so they do not have to be perfect. That's another nice one. Look at that guy. He's got a little bit of rough around the edges, but I think he'll polish out. Another. If you want to assist me in doing this, it would be worlds of help if you could help me ID things, because other than stuff like real obvious like rose quartz, obsidian, I don't know what any of these are. So I could have super fancy rocks and have no idea. Well, they're all fancy because they're mine, but I'm pretty sure this is granite. The granite looks neat when it's polished up. I don't know. Like I said, I'm basically 5 years old when it comes to rocks, which I feel like most people that are into this are. It's like, that's a cool rock. I like that rock. Like a donkey from Shrek. That was a nice boulder. I like that boulder. But we'll get all these dudes into where they need to go. Rocks look cooler when they're wet, in case you were curious as to why these look a little less cool after they dry. But you can put a clear coat on them, and I'm told if you polish them just right, they'll take on a really nice glassy thing. We're actually going to use some cerium oxide here in just a minute to finish the job. Oop, drop one. There's rocks all over this house that I have dropped. So I get to rock hunt in my own home. It's a luxury, really. Today's Saturday. It's going to be Memorial Day here in a bit. What are your Memorial Day plans? Let me know. I don't have any. Well, I shouldn't say I don't have any. I'll probably end up doing whatever weird shaman stuff it is that I do. It's kind of cool. Green and pink. The goal is long term to start doing a little bit of jewelry here, which I think I could do pretty well with. Luckily, I've got a few mentors to talk with and learn all about stuff. So by the end of the winter, I imagine I'll have enough balls worked up to start playing into cutting stuff. It's got like a nice, almost opal-looking thing to it. It's like a moonstone from Pokemon's. I have to throw it at Michael Ferry. This step doesn't take too terribly long. I'm just glad to have a little bit of company because, staring at random rocks by your lonesome can get a little lonesome. Look at that guy. So shiny. These will make some great pieces. Later on, I'll be taking something along these lines and mounting it into a bird skull, or the mouth of a bird skull. So it looks like it's got a little nugget in its face. And we'll mount that to a chunk of oak. I had to stain the shaft. And get that ready for yesterday. Didn't feel like sharing. That is literally, I took a piece of cloth and wiped it on it once, and it was done. Really, really exciting, let me tell you. Oh, lost this thing again. Dunker. I'm no Bob Ross, but I definitely know how to flick a brush around. Is that good? My Bob Ross ain't hard enough. I like slapping his paints. Solid dude, though. He was a drill instructor, if I remember correctly. What a way to give back to the world after you're done yelling at him. That's why he left. If I remember correctly, he didn't want to yell at people. You can't blame him. That stuff's got to be horrible for your vocal cords. And tiresome. I always get tired when I yell at people a lot. So like I said, these little pits are something that most people would be like, well, that's no good. But I kind of like them, and I just make sure to clean them out as best I can. Nothing's perfect. You don't have to be perfect. So we're almost through here. I've been grabbing bigger fistfuls as I've gone, because it seems, like I said, more and more of these seem to be in okay condition. And we'll give them one more bath before they get their dunk into the finishing grip. My other little side project, see if I can grab it. Hey, come on. So if you see here, focus. There's all kinds of little tiny, like, gnat fart-sized rocks. We'll take those and put them in epoxy. Not epoxy, resin. And try to make some coasters. Because there's not a lot I can do with these tiny little guys. I'm sure, through my great creative brilliance, or lack thereof, I could find some sort of goofy thing to use them. But I think they'd be nice to make coasters with, and as time goes by, I get comfortable with looks like Starry Night. With resin casting, I'll probably move up to making like a coffee table, because I think a coffee table with rocks and in it could be kind of neat. But that's down the line. I want to get the coaster thing done. I figure not a whole lot lost there. Lost. If I can't get the coasters to work. It's just little wasted rocks, but with the coffee table, I can use some of these larger ones that are still kind of small. I guess pitted real bad. I might put him in the reject pile. Nah. We leave no rock behind. So these are all real nice specimens. My roommate does cosplay. I think I'm going to use some of these red and black pieces to make him a dangly do for his lightsaber pommel. It's a Star Wars cosplay is what he do. He's got a Sith thing he's working on. He's actually upstairs right now working on getting it wired together because he wanted to make a staff. It was one of his more recent projects. We do a lot of crafting in this house. I'm trying to get him to start streaming stuff too, or videotaping it. This thing, I feel like if I got access to a tile grinder, I could make like a little see-through guitar pick. But again, we're still working on figuring out what I want to do with all these. Getting them to a usable state, again, it's scrubbed, is the kind of big desire right now. That's really nice looking. And then I'll figure out what I want to do with them after the fact, kind of, you know? Some of these are remnants of stuff I picked up out of the riverbed here that I was just like, that's too cool to throw away. But a lot of them are from the Amazonian lots that I keep getting from Papa Bezos. So, I'll probably keep doing that for a while. Hopefully, eventually I'll be able to travel a little bit and just pick stuff up and you guys can come along through the magic of the internet. But who knows? For now, I am just a guy sitting in a basement scrubbing rocks, which I'm fine with. It's fun. Oh, the darkness has struck again. Let me turn the light on so that you can see this fascinating piece. Let me know how your week went down in the comments. I'm curious. Mine went pretty well. Got a lot done at work. I'm excited to work on this when I got home. I've been kind of looking forward to it all day because this is something I drive a fair amount of joy from. Look how pretty that is. It's like a nice aquamarine. There's some reds in there. That'll look really nice when it's done. I like the crystalline ones the most. They're my favorites. We got that going. Grabbing more fistfuls, making our way through here. Ooh, we got some ones to add to the to be coastered at another date. Stat. Truthfully, I couldn't tell you what my size limit is for those. I just randomly grab rocks that are small, and I'm like, yes, you will make a fine coaster. Like those guys over here, things you can't see. So disregard the man behind the curtain. So these guys will all probably go in there. Occasionally I'm picky because I don't want to waste super cool rocks on the coaster thing, but at the same time, that's kind of the whole point, is to amass a nice collection of little tiny gnat fart rocks that I can turn into a cool place for someone to put their beverage. When was the last time you got to sit your drink on a cool thing made of rocks? Never, probably, right? Ooh. Speaking of evolutionary stones, what do you think? What kind of Pokemans would that evolve? Rainbow stone? I've not played in a long time, but that looks like if I threw it at some electric rat, it would turn into something else. I mean, hopefully not a corpse. That would be unfortunate. For it, not for me. Oogly doogly. Oh, a little gnat fart rock. Boop. Ooh, spotted like my liver. Don't drink too much, kids. I got one of these little red pieces. They look like brick, but I know they're not. I've heard that some of these, when you put a black light on them, kind of glow a little bit. But I've never put that to the test with these new ones. I bought a black light for it, so I'll probably do that a little later. When I'm sitting in bed going to sleep. That's what my wind down routine is to stare at the cool rocks I've accrued. Okay, that's definitely from the riverbed around here, but it looks super cool. Like I said, the rocks here aren't particularly grandiose. Lots of igneous stuff, quartzes and granites and all that, but I've definitely found some winners. That guy's pretty pitted. I mean, that's fine. We do not leave any rocks behind. Ad Victorum. The Brotherhood of Steel guys? Or are you more of a... I forget the factions. It's been a while since I played Fallout. They're always hard to remember because they're apocalyptic paladins. I've been playing a whole lot of video games because I find myself realizing I want to go play outside. And with winter coming soon, it's hard to not want to go play outside. That was one from around here. It looks like a piece of fossilized wood, I think. It's neat. You're going to go in the jar. And have some nice blue pieces. Those guys ground down pretty far. I've been working my way through, I don't know if any of you like RPGs, but Pillars of Eternity 2 was one I was working on, and then I got distracted by Pathfinder Kingmaker. That one is absorbing a fair amount of my attention. Oh, look how blurry it is. Here, focus on this this brush. So we're nearing the end here. We got about 2 or 3 more handfuls left. I'm sure you guys are enjoying listening to me ramble about stuff and show you rocks. It's pretty much what happens when people come to visit me. On the rare occasion they do. I have no friends. I'm just giving a tour of all the weird stuff I'm working on. And what made me start to want to do this is maybe the weirdos around me don't want to learn about this stuff, but I'm sure there's weirdos somewhere that do. It's kind of how weirdos work, right? There are dozens of us. These look really nice next to each other. So I got them a lot. I know that's a heresy when it comes to speaking, but it's a branching point of which to continue talking off of. I really like this, whatever this is. I don't know, but I like it. There's a little bit of opaline in it, it looks like. Opaline. No, that's not grit. That's just part of the stone. Should you go into the tiny rock pile? Life's great quandaries. I'm gonna say he lives, as in he goes into the finishing and polishing. Some of these are on their second or third run through because they're roughnecks and don't need no man or something. I don't know. They've just not quite been up to my high standards. That or I want to keep having enough rock to keep stuff tumbling ad nauseum. Tiny little rocks come to Papa. Here we are. This is the final bit before we move on to putting them into pre-polished grit, because we'll have to drop one. We'll have to give these guys another bath because they're dirty, dirty boys. Or girls. I'm not really sure if rocks have gender. Probably not. We're just scrubbing that nonsense out of there. Scrubbity-dubbity-dubbity-doo. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, oh yeah. Get it. I think that is as good as that's going to get for that. Just scrub this guy a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not selling retail gems yet. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. It's all about working towards goals. This whole rock polishing and gardening thing is kind of giving me something to work towards again. It's been really nice. You have what you want to do with your life for a really long time, and then you get it, and you're like, wow, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Big. So, that guy looks good enough. Alright, so next, we have to, once again, up the stand here. Eating up Chuck. We're going to take her over to the sink once again. Don't get motion sickness because of the blurriness. It's going to be okay. I assure you. All is fine. Alright. So, down. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Look familiar? We were just here. So, we take our handy dandy filtration device here. And then we go back over here and get our rocks. And re-add them to the fold. By that I mean we're going to pour them into the strainer. Oh, it's so loud. So very loud. There we go. There we go. Ta-da! Perfect. So we've got the rocks in there now. And we'll just give them a little bathy do. Now that they've had their time being scrubbed. We'll find a little gross approximation of wetness. There we are. So, we've gotten that done. Now we must finish getting this guy clean, which when they spend the predominance of their time dirty, it's not an easy thing. Luckily I've got the tools required. I have the tools for the job. Kinda. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get it as clean as you can for this kind of thing. See? Scrub it baby. What kind of dish detergent do you use? And laundry. I'm a Dawn kind of guy for dishes. For laundry detergent, I like Tide. It's always taken care of. Plus, it usually comes in lavender, and that's my favorite aroma. So we're going to go ahead and get most of that grossness out. Not all of it. Good job. Good job, Tide. Totally not sponsored, but would love to do. How many people, give shout outs to laundry detergent? Alright, so we got that looking pretty good. Start there and that there. And return this to Poseidon. Like I said, I try to make sure the majority of my grit goes outside, but a little dirt to the end of it won't hurt nothing. Yeah. So, we'll now load the rocks rinsed into the bowl to once again be loud noise warning. To once again be tumbled about. By the looks of it, I can probably fit some of the rocks I have upstairs in here. So we'll put those in after I put you guys down. Because nothing too terribly exciting happens from this point out. We'll reattach it to the tumbling apparatum. And take you down one more. There it goes. Alright. So we're gonna go ahead and, if I can get this thing to play ball with me. There you go. Close enough. I'll take this and put it onto the base again. Once I find the dealios. And make sure you rinse these dudes too. Clear. What holds this family together? Twist this down. I gotta find a faster way to do this. Keep on twisting. Do twist. I'm just twisting along here. Twisting, twisting, twisting. Anybody's ever had to twist a long wing nut knows how much fun this is. Whoo! Twisting along, twisting along. Alright, there's that. We got her ratcheted down. Now we gotta go get. I want to clean this spoon off real quick. It's got all kinds of gross on it. Give it a little bath. Use my shirt here. It's the most professional of wiping apparatuses. That should do. I have to go get the cerium oxide off my desk because everything is on my desk. It's just how I live. Alright. Give her a little shaky. Okay. So, cerium oxide. Apparently it's a finer polish. I'm going to test this out straight the first time. But after this, I might try it doing one, then the other, for the finest polish money can buy. Alright, there we go. It's a little bit clumpier. So, we're just dusting this onto there. Dust. And then these guys will polish for the next couple days, and we'll see what comes of it. That'll conclude our little polishing talk for now. I'll probably have something else to talk about on live later. But for now, adieu.